Okay.
Episode 21 of True Sports is on the air. I'm Taylor Phillips. He's Louis Tenore. The NBA regular season has just got underway.
Hallelujah.
We got the 76ers and Celtics on TNT right now. And then after that, we got the Lakers and the Warriors.
Mm.
Lakers won their last NBA ring in 2020. The Warriors are the defending champions.
Yes, they are. Ooh.
Yeah, and if TSO Sage is aware of this, yeah, he's got to get back to his NBA content.
Mm.
The last few videos he's done were about WWE.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he's trying to keep his content flowing with more than just NBA,
Right.
including Dragon Ball Z animation fantasy stuff.
Right.
And others, such as Goku and other stuff. But right now it's a 12-point game. Celtics up front, 115 to 103, 3.5 to go and counting, fourth quarter.
Yuck.
But yeah. But in all seriousness, also got the Yankees beating the Guardians and moving on to the ALCS.
After all that, with 2 rainouts and whatnot, and a prolonged 5-game series, we finally get down to the Final Four. Thank God.
Yeah, of course. And the Yankees, I think, will take on the Houston Astros. Yes, the Houston Astros.
And the thing is that there is no in-between series. They won tonight in New York and are flying right now out to Houston because Game 1 will be tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, you don't see that. They would take a few days off in between series, but because of the rainouts and they don't want to extend, starting the ALCS in getting towards mid-October into late October, they're starting now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Remember, folks, the lockout screwed this all up in the first place.
Yeah, it was a temporary lockout. It didn't take too long, but still, yeah. Very well, at least somewhat detrimental.
Yes.
So, yeah, there you got more NHL action.
I do.
Philip Peronic stood there, let it deflect off of him and into the net last night. Red Wings suffered their first loss, but it was in overtime, so they got a point. They still have yet to lose in regulation. They lost to the Los Angeles Kings 5-4 in overtime.
Yep.
But they could have played better defense.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, Tyler Bertuzzi being out 4 to 6 weeks is not an excuse. Jacob Vrana being out due to personal matters is not an excuse. He'll be back Friday to join the team anyway. They still have tons of depth. They were playing great defense in New Jersey 3 nights ago against the Devils.
They sure did. The Devils looked awful.
Yeah, they were rebuilding. The Kings are not the Devils. I get that, but the Red Wings in their post game after the after the win over the Devils, they said head coach Derek Lalonde saying we're just doing our job, blocking shots and putting pucks in their net. That's how it's done. So, the Red Wings are in the top 3 in the Atlantic Division standings.
Wow.
Yep.
So
5
far.
points. 5 points. The Bruins have 6 points. Yeah, but you got it. I know you hate Boston, but you got to accept the reality here. The Florida Panthers, 4 points.
Mm-hmm.
The Tampa Bay Lightning, the Tampa Bay Lightning only 2 points, off to a rough start.
2.
They're the defending Eastern Conference champions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that switcheroo between our new head coach Derek Lalonde and our previous head coach Jeff Blashill in a switcheroo might have turned the tide here.
Sometimes it's what it takes.
Wow. John Cooper's problem now.
Yeah.
Well, what are your thoughts on what transpired in the NFL?
Well, it's been kind of like a pleasant surprise here in the New York area, as the Jets are now 4-2, and it's something nobody really expected. But because a lot of people are thinking, well, Buffalo and Miami were going to take the AFC East, but I think after the injury to Tua, I think that was the Jets. It's time to make some moves here. Buffalo, we know, is just very strong, so there was no doubt that they were going to make a run at the top again. New England, this is not Tom Brady's team anymore, so I knew the Patriots are going to take a dive. So the Jets, who have been cellar dwellers for the last 15 years or so, has been a welcome surprise. And Robert Saleh, he's a happy camper. And the Giants, who have made significant progress this season. I mean, they're only a game behind their Turnpike rival, the Eagles. That's why I call it the Turnpike, because we're so close in proximity, and they're making a run for it. With Dallas getting back Prescott, well, if they can stay healthy, okay, they may be able to make a run. So far, I think the NFC East has been the best division so far in football, and the Eagles are still the only undefeated team. I don't know how long it's going to last, but they have surprised everybody too. So this has been a very surprising year so far, especially within the NFC East and the AFC East. And as a fan of the New York team, the Jets, this is something I think we've been waiting for a very long, long time. Unfortunately, my brother's being a Bears fan, not much to be happy about. But I'm not going to say anything of that because they'll probably kill me after that. Eek.
Yeah,
And
but
speaking
of the Cowboys, they
yes,
like you said, like you pointed out, they get Dak Prescott back. They're going to kill my Lions.
Sorry.
Yeah, I can't even bear watch that game. Screw it.
I'll be looking forward to it.
Yeah. Dan Campbell is going to continue to be extremely stupid and just their offense, just like in New England, is going to continue to sputter. Especially on the road. They're in Dallas. The Lions, and their defense, I don't know. They held the Patriots of all teams to 29 points. I thought they were going to give up over 50.
Yeah, that's a lot of points though to give up.
Right, or at least 40. I want to go that.
40, yeah, 40 is more, I think, legit.
Yeah.
50, yeah, it's pushing it.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. The Patriots no longer have Tom Brady. Yeah, they have Mac Jones as a quarterback.
Decent.
Yeah, decent. Yeah. But more importantly, they still have Bill Belichick as the head coach.
Yeah.
Hmm. So, college football. Michigan and Michigan State both have the bye week this upcoming Saturday, and then they face each other in Ann Arbor.
Uh-huh. The annual rivalry matchup.
Yes, Michigan's looking for revenge against State uh,
Yeah.
after what happened last year in East Lansing
Oh
between the
yeah.
two. It was a close one. I love
What?
both teams equally, no matter what. I just see what happens and accept accept the reality of the fact and detect the truth about it. But I think Michigan uh, smashing Penn State last Saturday. They're a heavy favorite against State. Michigan State is coming off a thrilling overtime win, 34-28 in East Lansing over Wisconsin.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, the Spartans beat the Badgers in a grudge match. But yeah, State was playing like they had a chip on their shoulder, and I think they're going to continue to do that against Michigan. But I think Michigan's still going to be too much. I think the Wolverines are going to pull it out.
Mm-hmm.
But Alabama lost to Tennessee.
I wasn't surprised by that, to be honest with you. I really
Oh,
thought
really?
Tennessee I really thought Tennessee could be it. I mean, Tennessee, I think Alabama's a bit overrated, and Tennessee, has a strong offense, and they were able to beat them. Bama just, didn't have it. So I
Didn't have
was
their
right.
defense. They scored.
Yeah,
Both teams scored 49 points going into that game-winning field goal.
yeah,
It was a slugfest.
it was. That's the kind of game I think I was expecting. And Bama can't hold out with games like that when when the opponents are scoring high. So I knew this is going to be trouble for Alabama. Alabama is
Hmm.
way too overrated anyway. Way too overrated. Only one hit.
Yeah. All right. So with all that with all that out of the way, it's time for your true sports report. Lewis, take it away.
All right, and good evening, everybody. Right now, we're reviewing the NLCS Championship Game One. The Phillies have a 2-0 lead over the Padres at the end of 7, 2-0. Padres only have one hit. Oh boy, Segura, Marsh, and Schwaber are due up for the Phillies going into the eighth inning. This has been quite a surprise, because I didn't expect in the National League Championship matchup to be the Phillies and the Padres for crying out loud. I didn't think the Padres had a chance to get the Dodgers and the Phillies, beating Atlanta. I did not see this coming. So the National League Championship Series has been a complete surprise as both underdogs are now in this series, and the winner will face in the World Series. So if the Yankees do win this, we have a rematch of the 1998 final, or rather 99 final against the Padres, or we have the 2009 rematch against the Phillies. Well, we'll find out as the week moves along. So they won. So they're 2-0, and they're in game one of their series. And the Yankees finished up the division series today. Thank goodness. After two rainouts that happened this week, they finally game five in, and they beat the Pants of the Guardians 5-1. Ha ha! Cortez got the win, and Clivo got the loss. And the Yankees and the Astros will start this series tomorrow. Yes, I know it's kind of unusual to have to go from one series to the other, but remember, the rainouts caused that problem. and that's why it's going to be that. Because if they dragged it any further, it would not start until like October 21st and 22nd, and the World Series wouldn't start until November. And there's no way they're going to do that. Starting in late October is bad enough as it is. Ugh. I mean, when you think about it, because we have, of course, we had the lockout to begin the season, and that was not fun. We weren't even sure we were going to have a World Series this year, so baseball season this year. So luckily, we did. Incidentally, um, the Phillies will take on the Padres tomorrow at 4:35. That will be a Fox game. That's game two, and the Yankees and Astros will be on TBS. For the record, Fox and FS1 will have the Phillies Padres series, and all Yankees and Astros games will be on TBS. Thanks a lot. You could put the Yankees on Fox. You dirty, no good. Ugh. So, so let's just check out the schedule for the upcoming for the series here. And right now we're going in the eighth inning. Okay. All right. So we're gonna check the series, and of course, this has been this is when the drama I think really heats up for the series because you're in the National League and American League Championship Series, and what it goes was it doesn't quite have the same effect as when I was young. I mean, because all the games in that series were day games, and we didn't have this night game stuff. So, but at least we're getting one day game. The problem is though with the shadows coming in, ugh, I don't like that at all. All right, so game one will be tomorrow against the Yankees and the Astros at 7:30. Yankees and Astros will play game two at 7:37 on TBS. Oh, brother. And the rest will follow later on. All right, so why don't we go down to the ice? No, why don't we go to the NBA because it's opening night, so why not? Yeah, NBA opening night began tonight. Thank goodness. That's a sure sign that winter's on the way and the baseball season is nearly over. Though I'm not too happy about, of course, the Celtics winning. Those of you who've heard me ramble on through the years know that I am not a fan of much of any Boston team. I have, you know, I mean, the city is one thing, your sports teams are another. Let's put it that way. I have no hatred for the city. So the Lakers and Warriors will meet up about 10 in a few minutes, give or take, as soon as the coverage is done for the Celtics and Sixers, which is now over as the Celtics beat the Sixers 126 to 117. James Harden, 36 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. And Jason Tatum, 36 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 assists. And those are the only two games that are on the schedule tonight. But of course, the real schedule begins tomorrow, the first full day, which also involves my Knicks. Thank God. If we you wouldn't know that, but it is a really long season in between the NBA off season and whatnot. So it's always a pleasure to get the season back. So they'll play tomorrow. The Nets will play tomorrow as well. Oh boy. So, but I'm looking forward to the start of the new NBA season, which kicked off tonight. And there's going to be a lot of good games here. There's going to be five. ABC is going to have 5 Christmas games this year. They'll simulcast that with ESPN. I'll get more on that later on. So if you're a basketball fan, you're in luck. The only thing is, though, it collides with the NFL because they'll have 3 NFL games that day as well. Remember, Christmas is on a Sunday this year, people. So you have to factor that. Well, you can't win them all. Hmm. And even Betty Cantley is happy about the NBA season starting tonight. And we certainly wish her Cleveland Cavaliers the best of luck. Yes, well, at least she's willing to have the best of luck with the Cavaliers. Wasn't that long ago that they won the championship. Although that was a fluke. And right now it is still 2-0. Phillies are up 2-0. There's 2 outs in the top of the eighth. Oh, boy. All right, so we'll look at the tomorrow's matchups for the NBA, and it goes like this. The Orlando Tragic, the Magic, will start things off at 7 games are as follows. The Wizards taking on the Pacers. The Rockets taking on the Hawks. The Pelicans taking on the Nets. That's 7:30. That's a 7:30 game. Also along with the Rockets and Atlanta. Also 7:30. The Bulls take on the Heat. The Cavaliers take on the Raptors. And my Knicks take on the Grizzlies. Yeah. 8 o'clock. The Thunder take on Minnesota. Also, the Hornets will take on the Spurs. The Nuggets take on the Jazz at 9. The Mavericks take on the Suns at 10. And at 10 o'clock, also, the Blazers will take on the Kings. I hope he's still there. Uh-oh. I think we got a problem here. All right, so we'll also check on now to the NHL. Of course, it's too early to determine the NBA standings, of course. Okay, there we go. So we'll just move on to the NHL. And the Devils got their first win of the season. Time they played the Ducks 4-2. And I know some people that I know of are going to be very happy about that, so to speak. And right now, ESPN is also carrying the late game, as that is the Los Angeles Kings versus the Nashville Predators. Nashville hasn't. The Kings haven't won since 2012, though. No, 2014. Excuse me. It seems longer though. All right, so the Golden Knights are leading the Flames 2-0 with 12:45 to go in the second period. Howden and Carrier scored both for the Golden Knights. 13:52 to go in the second period. The Sabres lead the Orioles 3-1. Nurse scored for the Oilers, and Thompson and Daham and Pernica have scored for the Sabres. Can the Sabres actually do well this year? Ooh, maybe. Predators are leading the Kings right now, 1-0 at the end of one. The game was the Blue Jackets beat the Canucks 4-3 to overtime. Wow, good game there. Also, other finals are, like I said, the Devils over the Ducks 4-2. Hamilton, Pesa, and Hersher did the damage for the Devils. The Senators over the Bruins 5-7. Kachuk, Strutter, and Bergeron did the scoring. Bergeron was one of the 3 stars. Okay. The Flyers over the Lightning 3-2. The Islanders over the Sharks 5-2. Yeah. That's another team I can't stand. Sorry. And it's only been a week, so it's a little bit too early, maybe to do the standings, but we'll just run down the point totals right now as we will here. Islanders might do good this, might have another good season. Wasn't that long ago that they reached the later stages of the Stanley Cup playoffs. But how do you go from being, that great one year and then just tank miserably the next? I mean, that's all I can figure out. I mean, they did horrible last year after having a good 2020 season, and then just 2021 collapsed.
Ouch.
Yeah, I mean, at least there's one thing that certain person I know of, and that I agree on, that we both can't stand the Islanders. Yuck. All right, so to lead off in the Eastern Conference in the Atlantic Division, it goes like this. Bruins have 6 points at 3-1. Your Red Wings off to a good start at 2-1 at 5 points. Florida Panthers 2-0, 4 points. The Leafs 2-0, 4 points. The Habs with the Canadiens 4 points at 2-0. Sabres 1-1-0, 1-1-0 and 2 points. Senators 1-2-0, 2 points, and the Lightning 1-3-0 and 2 points. Lightning isn't striking 3 times here. Okay. All right. Interesting division, the metropolitan area. The Hurricanes have 5 points at 3-0 and undefeated. Also, the Philadelphia Flyers are undefeated at 3-0 at 6 points. Yuck. Rangers, not bad. 3-1 and 6 points. All regulation, by the way. Pens, 5 points at 2-0-1. Islanders 2-1-0, 4 points. Capitals are 2-2-0, 4 points. Devils got their first points at all with the win tonight, 1-2-0. And the Blue Jackets 1-3-0 and 2 points. Oh, in the West, some of you might like this and some of you may not. In the Central, Stars are unbeaten at 3-0, 6 points. Avalanche 2-1-0, 4 points. The Predators 2-2-0, 4 points. The Blues are feeling a little bit blue, 1-0-0, 2 points. Jets 1-1-0, 2 points. The Coyotes 1-2-0, 2 points, and the Minnesota Wild, great big nothing. 0-3-0. Okay, I wonder how that season's gonna go. Yep, great big nothing. Knights lead the Pacific at 3-0-0, 6 points. Flames 2-0-0, 4 points. Kings 2-2-0, 4 points. The Kraken 1-2-1, 3 points. The Oilers 1-1-0, 2 points. The Ducks 1-3-0, 2 points after tonight's loss. The Canucks 0-3-1, 1 point. And the Sharks, once again, great big nothing at 0-5-0 and no points. Wow.
Are you kidding me?
No, I wish I was.
Wow.
Played 5 games already, and they haven't done jack. Maybe they got to meet this guy, Jack. Oh.
They just suck.
Yeah, I'll say. The San Jose Sharks aren't biting. Oh. Yeah. 0-5-0. Well, that kind of reminds me of the Devils' first season when they didn't do anything either. Ugh. In fact, for the first 5 seasons in their existence, they hardly won any games at all. So I can vouch for the Sharks because at one time, yes, the Devils were that bad. Oh boy. All right, so looking at tomorrow's schedule, Wednesday's usually a lighter night on the ice, and tomorrow is no exception. As only be 3 games being played. That's the Flyers against the Panthers, 7:30, 8 o'clock. The Jets versus the Avalanche, and 10 o'clock. the Blues take on the Kraken. The 7:30 and 10 o'clock games will be on TNT. So for those of you who have got that channel, you're in luck. Yeah. And last night, the Monday Night Football turned to be a decent game. 19 is the Chargers won 19-16 in overtime. Uh, then again, it was against the Raiders, and the Raiders are not what they used to be. But of course, don't take my word for it, folks. All right, so getting on to the headline news of the day. It goes, or for the next, or I should say, for the last couple of days. Okay, I don't know how many of you were into NASCAR, but this one's a doozy here, as NASCAR had suspended one of its Bubba Wallace. Yep, Bubba Wallace was suspended for an upcoming race at Homestead in Miami after he spun Kyle Larson at the Vegas Motor Speedway over the weekend, and then went into a confrontation with him. Okay, not a very smart move there, people. NASCAR classified the infraction as behavioral, in which by rule the rulebook could cover Wallace intentionally spinning out Larson, his contact with an official, and a shoving match with Larson.
That can sometimes happen.
Yes, it could. He is the first Cup driver to be suspended in 7 years and will miss Sunday's race in South Florida, based on your own stupidity. Larson, like Wallace, was eliminated from the Chase Cup when both collided at lap 94 during Sunday's race. Larson attempted a three-wide pass, and Kevin Harvick in the middle dropped out of the pack. Larson slid up the track toward Wallace, who did not give Larson room, and then Larson shoved Wallace's car into the wall. Wallace had to lead 29 laps into the car he believed that he could win, and reacted by following Larson's car down the apron when it seemed to intentionally hook him in the right rear corner as retaliation. That sent Larson spinning into the path of Christopher Bell, who was a title contender and who was also part of the Toyota camp with Wallace. This ended Bell's race as he dropped to 8th in the playoff standings. Okay, golf anybody? Okay. Well, the war goes on between the PGA and the LIV. The PGA is set to announce this week that 4 events, the Heritage Classic, the Wells Fargo Championship, the Phoenix Open, and the Travelers Championship, to be among 4 of the 13 events elevated to include a purse of $20 million next season. That's right, I said $20 million. They will enjoy the other 9 elevated events where the PGA Tour's top players have continued to play to spice up the fields as the tour continues its battle against the new upstart LIV League. This was first reported by Golf Week magazine. My uncle was a big reader of that. PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan announced that the Tournament Champions, the Players Championship, and 3 invitationals, namely the Arnold Palmer, the Genesis, and Memorial, aka Major Number 5, and 3 FedEx events, the St. Jude's, the BMW Invitational, and the Tour Championship, are also among the elevated events. Happen again. Continuing on. Former New York Rangers coach Mike Keenan, yes, the Mike Keenan who gave us the Stanley Cup in 1994. Wow. Which I fondly remember. Will coach Team Italy in the 2026 Winter Olympics. Keenan last coached in 2017 for the KHL team known as the Red Star. Keenan said he had a lot of intentional international experience, and sees as a challenge and opportunity. He says, "I'm so excited to be in the building process in a run-up to the 2026 Olympics. Italy has a passion for its sports teams, sports, and that's why I expect high expectations for this team. Italy finished 11th out of 12 in the tour run games of 2026. Hornets guard LaMelo Ball is expected to miss the opener tomorrow against the Spurs with a sprained left ankle. Hornets coach Steve Clifford said that Bell said that LaMelo um, it is certain that it's probably certain he will not play in this game and will probably miss the upcoming Western trip. Well, that I say is doubtful. He is doing extra rehab and doing everything he can, but at this point, it's probably not going to happen. Ball was injured on a preseason loss to the Wizards as Anthony Gill accidentally stepped on his foot. Ball has neither played or practiced since. If Ball does not play, it's likely that Terry Rozier will start as the guard. The Atlanta Hawks forward DeAndre Hunter is a very rich man as he agreed to a 4-year extension worth $95 million, told by his agents Thad Boucher and Joe Smith. They told ESPN last night. The deal allows Hunter to avoid becoming an unrestricted free agent in the offseason. In 53 games last season for the Hawks, he averaged 13.4 points along with a 37.9 percentage from 3-point range. His skills fits with the Hawks' blueprint for the future and joins Trae Young and John Collins on long-term deals. The combination of Hunter and DeJounte Murray give head coach Nate McMillan the type of defense to pair up with Young on the perimeter with the hope that the Hawks will boost up their defense that was a measly 26th last season. That is pathetic. Hunter was selected in the fourth round of the 2019 draft and the 11th player from the draft class to sign an extension, joining such players as John Morant, RJ Barrett, Tyler Hero, Jordan Clark, Jordan Poole, Kevin Porter Jr., and, Zion, as long as the shoe doesn't explode. Oh boy. Excluding Hunter, the Hawks have four of their starting five, which also includes Clint Capella, signed for the next 3 seasons, and Murray for at least the next two. The Hawks acquire Hunter in the draft, making a deal with the Pelicans to move up to the eighth spot. From the eighth spot to 4, Hunter played college ball in Virginia. As I mentioned, if you're an NBA fan, then Santa left a big present for you. ABC and ESPN together will broadcast all 5 games on December 25th. Well, all I can say is ho, ho, ho. ESPN announced yesterday that all 5 games will be broadcast on the network. ABC was going to show the Lakers versus Mavericks. That's the 5 o'clock game. The Bucks Celtics. That was it. And the Grizzlies Mavericks. Now they will show the Sixers and the Knicks at noon, and the Suns at Nuggets at 10:30. This comes as the NFL will air 3 games on Christmas Day, since Christmas Day falls on a Sunday this year. So they've got some competition. The Lakers will be without Dennis Schroeder for about a month or so, maybe a little bit less, after having a procedure to repair a torn ligament in his left thumb, said by Coach David Ham. Ooh. The news came on the eve of the regular season, which is now underway, and the Lakers face the Warriors. Schroeder signed a 1-year, $2.6 million deal with the Lakers this offseason after spending the 2021 season with the Lakers. Ham also told reporters that guard Russell Westbrook is day-to-day with a hamstring injury in a preseason loss to their interstate rival, the Sacramento Kings. Well, the college basketball season is still about 3 weeks away. Wish it was a little bit sooner. But the preseason poll is already out, and North Carolina comes out on top with 47 of 62 first-place votes. The rest of the top 10 goes like this: number 2, Gonzaga; number 3, Houston; number 4, Kentucky; number 5, Kansas; number 6, Baylor; number 7, Duke. The first season without Mike Walshevsky in 42 years. Okay, UCLA 8th, Creighton number 9. I hate Creighton. Arkansas number 10, and for Big East fans like me, Villanova 14th. And Seton Hall nowhere to be found in the top 20. Thanks a lot.
Michigan State's out of the top 25.
Right. Ooh. Okay, the Rockets signed Kevin Porter Jr. came to an agreement on a 4-year, $82 million deal. His agent Sam Prunen of Rock Sports told ESPN the extension also carries a unique structure that allows a significant upside for Porter and protection for the Rockets. If it's anything like last season, I don't know, because last season the Rockets were grounded very badly. The first season of the deal is guaranteed, and future seasons have several mechanisms to a full guarantee, according to sources. Porter landed the extension ahead of yesterday's deadline for players of the 2019 draft class, which wasn't that long ago. Rockets GM Raphael Stone and coach Stephen Salas have invested time and energy into Porter Jr. on and off the court on its growth, and it has given reason to keep developing them into one of the young cornerstones of the franchise. He was traded from the Cavaliers to the Rockets in 2021 for a late second-round pick. He finished last season with the Rockets with 28.7 points, 7.4 assists, and 7.3 rebounds in a season that just absolutely sucked. And it did. So, in other words, he was like the only player that did anything decent. And the Grizzlies forward Brandon Clark signed a 4-year deal worth $32 million, told by his Mark Burlstein of Priority Sports. Clark had a deal ahead of the deadline from 6 p.m. last night for rookie scale deals of the 2019 draft class. Clark has become an important player off the bench as the Grizzlies won 56 games last year and were second in the West. Too bad in the whole bunch of playoffs. Clark led the league in several areas last season in second chance points, points in the paint, and offensive rebounds. Each are hard out Dennis Rodman. In the last 3 seasons, he averaged nearly 11 points per game on 59% shooting. If you want exact numbers, okay, 10.9. But I like to round it off to the nearest number. Okay. Brooks Koepka caps off the LAV individual season with a win on the third playoff hole and claimed his first victory on this new tour. Little could separate him from close friend Peter Ewinen all weekend as they matched birdie for birdie on the first 2 playoff holes. Koepka, also some people call him Brooksy, prevailed. Ewinen on the third shot in the sand and landed in the water, while Koepka had a textbook shot to seal his first victory in a little more than a year and a half. I didn't realize it was that long. And for the Nets tomorrow, well, Nets fans, you're probably not going to like this as guards Seth Curry, yes, little brother, and Joe Harris will not be able to play due to injuries. Harris is out with a left foot injury, and Curry is out with a left ankle injury. They face the Pelicans in the opener tomorrow. Curry underwent ankle surgery in the offseason. He has been able to play some form for work in practice, but it's not been able to play. And the same can be said for Harris, who had 2 ankle surgeries in the offseason and only played 14 games last season. So that could be a problem, although Rick Nash says it's not really a big concern. Ahead of yesterday's practice. Well, I'm a little bit concerned because you need your guards anyway. You need your guards to, handle the ball. So this does concern me a little bit. But at least it's early in the season, not like later. Nash said made it clear that neither player has set back over the past few weeks. Harris said last week he was hopeful to play in the opener and was told by his doctors that his foot soreness is dealing with is normal after having the ankle go under reconstruction. Ugh. Well, that can't be good. And Winnipeg Jets coach Rick Bowness missed the season opener as head coach after testing positive for COVID that afternoon. The Jets opened up with a home victory against the Rangers on the same night and came away with a victory. Yuck. Scott Arnell assumed head coaching duties and still is at this point. Bowness was hired to replace interim coach Dave Lowry. He spent 3 seasons coaching with the Dallas Stars, leading them to a Stanley Cup final. Bowness is the league's oldest coach at age 67. He began his first coaching job in 1988 with the Winnipeg Jets. Go figure. Winnipeg, of course. They lost that franchise for a while, but then were reformed later on. But they still have yet to improve, on them as a winning team because that team was never much to be happy about. Maryland quarterback, uh, Tula Tagliava, younger brother of Tua, will be
Tagovailoa.
Tagliava, or Tag as I call it, will be a game time decision against Northwestern after aggravating his right knee in Saturday's win over Indiana. Not a great way to celebrate a victory, but still. Um, Turpin's coach Mike Lasky told uh, Tula, who was a 3-year starter, underwent an MRI and a second opinion on his knee that he sprained in the game last month. That loss was to Michigan. He was carted off the field with 12 minutes in the fourth quarter after being hit as he threw the ball. Ugh. Backup quarterback Billy Edwards Jr. entered into the game with a 7-play, 62-yard drive that ended with a 3-yard touchdown, proving to be the game winner. Edwards had 53 rushing yards on 5 carries, while failing to complete a pass on 3 attempts. Lasky said that Tag benefited from wearing a knee brace, though he really didn't want to wear one during games. The younger brother of Tua completed for 72.5% of his passes for 2001 yards, with 13 touchdown passes and 5 interceptions for the Terps this season. The Commanders will go with Taylor Heineke as the starting quarterback in place of Carson Wentz. That was told by Ron Rivera today. Wentz underwent surgery on his right ring finger yesterday and is out for Sunday's games against the Packers. Rivera said he would know more about Wentz's timetable and will determine if he needs to go on the injury reserve list by the end of the week. A source told ESPN Wentz is looking at a recovery time of 4 weeks. It's no surprise that Heineke would start instead of going with Sam Howell, who was a 5th-round draft pick. Heineke was the number 2 quarterback all season, and while they like how Howell has progressed, they still need to see what work needs to be done for him. Heineke will be the number 2 quarterback. The Commanders also signed Jake Forum to the practice squad. Former Titans tight end, that is, Delane Walker, announced his retirement today. Playing the game for so long, he was thankful. Walker said by the team website, "I would say we're doing better than I thought possible." He played 14 seasons in the league, starting with the 49ers, which selected him in the 6th round of Central Missouri, or for some of you, Missouri. The Titans signed him to a 4-year, $17.5 million deal back in 2013. As for the Titans, he earned 3 Pro Bowls in 7 seasons at 28 touchdown receptions, the most by a Titans/Oilers player when the franchise was in Houston. He ended up second in franchise history among tight ends with 4,423 yards. Not bad for a franchise that is mostly associated with losing. Mostly. Well, then again, they were worse though as the Oilers. I mean, they didn't really have much going on there. Oh, and I want to give a special prayers to Dikembe Mutombo, who was being treated for a brain tumor over the weekend, and we certainly wish him a recovery. Wasn't that long ago he was making a Geico commercial? No, 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 not in my house. Okay, all right. There's a leftover joke from another show. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones is hoping that quarterback Dak Prescott hopes to play on Sunday against your Lions after missing 5 games with a fractured thumb. Well, I'll say it like this. He is determined to play. Jones saying that on 105.3 The Fan. I think from what I see, my perspective is from what I know, I think he's going to get there.
He's medically cleared.
Yes, he is. As of now, but he wasn't when I did this report. We think in the physical sense, he's in a position that justifies him being out there in terms of any relapses of the injury. Jones said that Prescott had a productive throwing session before last Sunday's game against the Eagles. After the game, Prescott said it was his plan to play on Sunday. Good luck. Yesterday, head coach Mike McCarthy said he would be medically cleared by today, and he has. And without any further disruption, he should be able to play in practice tomorrow. Prescott began throwing just last week after undergoing surgery on September 12th, one day after the season opener. Not a great way to start your season, is it? And the soap opera continues with Deshaun Watson as a judge gives new plaintiff 24 hours to amend her petition to include her name if she wants to go forward with the suit. Just when you thought this stuff was over. Wrong. The ruling was made in an emergency hearing at the 113th District Court in Harris County, Texas. During the hearing, Watson's lawyer, Rusty Hardin, asked the court counsel to provide the name of the plaintiff and sanctions for not originally providing it. The lawsuit filed under the alias Jane Doe is the 26th case filed against Watson, accusing him of sexual misconduct during massage sessions. The previous lawsuits were filed by Tony Busby. Hardin's team spent 72 hours trying to get the name of this alias Jane Doe. Therefore, we would like to ask for the name of the plaintiff and sanction her for putting us through this process. She's looking to get money. Come on. Think about it, people. Some people are just there for the win. And game 1 of the NLCS is over as the Phillies defeat the Padres 2-0, taking a game 1 lead in the series. How do you like that? All right, Packers wide receiver Randall Cobb will miss several weeks with an ankle injury that he suffered in Sunday's loss to the Jets. But the good news is, it is not a season-ending injury. It appeared that players rolled onto each of his legs and was not clear which ankle was injured. That's a problem right there. It is one of those injuries that will not heal in a week. He'll miss several games, but he did avoid serious injury and will play at some point in the season. It's possible that Cobb could be placed on injury reserve, and by league rule, Cobb then will have to miss the next 4 weeks. Cobb was leading receiver in their Week 5 loss to the Giants in London, where he had 7 catches for 99 yards. The Packers had a different leading receiver through the first 6 games of the season. Cobb ranks second in receiving yards with 257 and fourth in catches with 18. Longtime receiver Sammy Watkins is expected to come off the injured list after suffering a hamstring injury in practice in week 2. Watkins ran routes on the field before the start of Sunday's game and might be able to return for their next game. Gotta go with the old pro. All right. Moving forward. Okay, just here. Wow. And of course, also this weekend, I'll take predictions on who is going to win the ALCS and who is going to win the NLCS. If I know my crowd, I think they're just as stunned as I am about the NLCS because nobody expected this. Okay, here's an interesting story of the week. Well, I think so. It took 15 hours and across 5 states to get from Orchard Park, New York, to Arrowhead Stadium by car, a distance of about 1,000 miles. Bills safety Jordan Poyer made the trip and back to play the Bills win over the Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium after not being cleared to fly as a result of a collapsed lung. That according to sources. Poyer was permitted to play, but doctors were not comfortable with his air pressure that comes with flying until he is fully recovered from the injury. The Bills arranged for Poyer and his family to travel to Kansas City by van. The All-Pro safety had 4 tackles and played in every snap of the game. He suffered an injury in Week 4 against the Ravens while making the second of his 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter. He described the injury as getting the wind knocked out of him. I know what that feels like. He missed Bills' Week 5 win over the Steelers. He was in limited practice on Wednesday and Thursday, but was in full practice on Friday. The Bills have a bye week in Week 7 before they play home to the Packers in Week 8, so he can rest on that at least. Dolphins quarterback Tua Tag is paired to practice as the team's starter against the Steelers. McDaniels said yesterday making his return to the field after sitting out the last 2 weeks after being under concussion protocol. Tua has not played since the loss to the Bengals when he suffered the concussion on September 25th. 4 days later, he had a similar incident against the Bills. Tag hit his head on the ground and stumbled as he tried to return to the huddle. He was evaluated for a concussion at halftime of the Bills game, but passed the examination. Both Tua and his teammates clarified that the stumble was caused by a back injury. Well, that could happen. All right. And, of course, as we mentioned, the Yankees that took Game 5. As last night's game was rained out after we had a monsoon. It didn't rain all day in the area, and just an hour before game time, it started to pour in this area. Thanks a lot, Mother Nature, for screwing us up. The Cardinals have acquired wide receiver Robbie Anderson a day after Marquise Hollywood Brown suffered a foot injury that could end the season, but not definite. Brown suffered the possible season-ending injury in the Cardinals' loss to the Seahawks, on Sunday, sources told ESPN. Brown told reporters on Sunday the X-rays were negative and was undergoing further testing to determine the extent of the injury, sources said. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Brown was acquired by the Cardinals from the Ravens in this year's draft, had 45 receptions for 485 yards and 3 touchdowns in 6 games this season. The Cardinals said in a statement that they acquired Anderson for undisclosed draft compensation. Sources told ESPN that the Panthers will receive a 2024 6th-round pick and a 7th-round pick in 2025. The trade of Anderson comes a day after he was kicked out of a game after an argument with his position coach. Oh, yeah. So that didn't end well. Carson Wentz undergoes surgery on his right ring finger in Los Angeles. The source confirmed to ESPN it is not known how much time he will miss. He suffered the fractured finger in last Thursday's win over the pathetic Chicago Bears. Taylor Heineke replaced Wentz as a starter. Rookie Sam Howell in fifth round would be the primary backup. Wentz hurt his finger with 2 minutes left in the first half on a follow through in his right hand and hit the arm of Bears defenseman Justin Jones. Once again, my brother is not pleased. Yeah. Getting back to the Alabama losing story, Nick Saban put it simple. Alabama's defense was too soft. It allowed Tennessee to drive the ball down 45 yards with 13 seconds left and end up losing the game. Tennessee fans rushed across the field, setting up a walk-off field goal and finishing off a very wild game. The Tennessee fans rushed off the field and tore down the goalpost after Chase McGrath hit the 40-yard field goal for the upset win. Alabama allowed the most points and committed 17 penalties in the game. Oh boy, which is unheard of for them in the Saban era, dating back to 2007. Saban said, "We are very disappointed, and we just could not answer the bell today. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. We had way too many penalties, gave up explosive plays, had a major error on special teams leading up to the loss." You do have to give Tennessee credit. They did a great job where their offense was great and our defense just didn't stack up. Bryce Young, who missed last week's game due to shoulder soreness, threw 455 yards in the loss and 2 touchdowns. You can't say that Tide didn't go down without a fight as they came back from 28-10 and even took the lead briefly before Tennessee stormed back with 10 unanswered points in the fourth. Tennessee quarterback Hendon Hooker completed 21 for 30 passes for 385 yards and 5 touchdowns, all to Jalen Hyatt, who set a record for most receptions in the game. But no completions were bigger than Hooker's 18 and 27-yard passes to set up the game-winning field goal. I think the goalposts were found in Memphis later that night. And to my partner Steve Davidson, well, I hate to say it, but Alabama lost. Oh boy, I had to do it. Oh, he's gonna kill me for that on Saturday. But like I said, Alabama, I think, is overrated a little bit. So getting back to the story of a player being kicked out, Panthers interim coach Steve Wilkins kicked out wide receiver Robbie Anderson after getting into a heated argument with position coach Joe Daly. Wait, folks, there's more. Anderson got into a shouting match with Daly in the first half and opened the second half with on a stationary bike and wearing a baseball cap. Late in the third, he was sitting on a cooler while the rest of the offense was talking strategy on the sideline. Mm-hmm. Then later in the third, and trailing by a touchdown, Anderson and Daly got into another exchange of heated words. Wilkins stepped in and sent Anderson to the showers, or some call it the locker room. Anderson oh, was brought to the Panthers by Matt Rule, who was fired recently after a 1-4 start. Anderson played for Rule while he was at Temple, which at that time they also pretty much sucked. Anderson did not even have one catch in the game. He entered Sunday's game with 13 catches for 206 yards and a touchdown in the season opener against the Browns on a pass by Baker Mayfield. I'm not touching that one. Baker Mayfield. You think he's ever going to hit his team a Super Bowl? I don't think so. For you Jets fans, I think you'll love this, sort of. The Jets celebrated victory on Sunday and took part in some local traditions on Sunday. They celebrated by taking a Lambeau leap and donned a cheese head worn by rookie quarterback Sauce Gardner, a gift from a Jets fan in the crowd. As he left the field and headed for the into the tunnel, which was the wrong tunnel. Oh boy, was caught from behind by Packers wide receiver Alan Lazard as he knocked a block of cheese off, creating a viral moment on social media. I'm not going. I'm not going for forget this moment. Garner said, laughing in his locker. It's a tribute to Jets fans. They put this on my head, Jets fans, and took it and ran with it. Yeah, yeah. Jets are the Jets took a 3-3 tie into halftime, and after that became a one-sack contest as Aaron Rodgers was sacked 4 times and hit 9 times and rushed the pack 179-60. Outrushed them. And became the first team since 2018 to block a punt and a field goal in the same game. I wonder how Rodgers likes the discount Dabble check right now. Okay. Oh boy. The Jets are off to the best start in 6 games since 2015 and are now 4-2. Are the Jets for real? Maybe. And if you're looking at this picture here of Alabama versus Tennessee, some fans are just not happy with that. Well, I just can't say I blame them. Everybody thought Bama was going to win, but I saw something different. That's all I can say. That's all I can say about that. So I was not shocked by that loss, and yet everybody thought I was crazy. Steelers quarterback Kenny Pickett's first start came to an abrupt end as he took a hit from the Bucs linebacker Devin White in the third quarter, and suffered a concussion. He was hit as he threw and appeared to hit his hand on the turf after a tackle. That's why I hate AstroTurf, people. Pickett stayed on the ground after the play. The Steelers medical staff quickly ran onto the field to attend to him. They helped him to the sideline and into the blue injury tent. He remained in the tent for several minutes and then was checked for a concussion evaluation. He was replaced by Mitch Trubisky midway through the third quarter. Trubisky was 9 for 12, passing with a touchdown and escaped with a victory. Before Pickett suffered the concussion, he was 11 for 18 for 67 yards and a touchdown. Well, certainly hope to get better with that. You don't want to see a player go down like that. And it was the third longest game in NLDS history in terms by length of a game in the ALs and the ACLs between the Seattle Mariners and the Houston Astros on Saturday. Oh boy. 6 hours and 7 minutes. I don't know how people stay awake through the game, but they did. And as of course you know, San Diego, the Padres pull off the major upset as they defeated the Dodgers to advance to the NLCS. The Padres, who have spent most of their entire existence chasing the decorated franchise of North, meaning the Dodgers, are headed to their first World Series NLCS for the first time since 1998 and are facing the Phillies. Game 1 was just ended a short time ago. The Padres will have home field advantage for the first time in these playoffs. The Padres went on the road to beat the Mets, who had 101 victories. They won 3 straight games to beat the Dodgers, who had the best regular season record with 111 wins. Now, who would have thought about that heading into the postseason? Certainly not me. The biggest chokes in Seattle back in 2001 when they had 116 wins, which is a new franchise record. And yet, they blew it. And the
Yeah,
Phillies beat
Dave
the
Roberts
Braves.
is an over manager.
That's true. Yeah. So this has been quite an interesting playoff season. Well, sometimes the underdogs can win. Mostly they can't, but this time, well, this was one of them where they pulled it off. All right, so that ends my report. I'll turn it back over to you.
All right, so follow my other show, the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast, on Twitter and Instagram at Michigan_Truth. Like its Facebook page and subscribe to its YouTube channel. Thursday, Matthew Hutchinson and I are going to preview the Pistons. They start tomorrow, but Matthew and I are going to preview that like
Right.
the day after that. It's going to be a little late, but that being said, this has been True. He's Lewis. I'm Taylor. It's a presentation and production of Phillips Media. Ta-ta, hit him with a high.
Right, folks.